Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you to the organizers for inviting the Danish Energy Agency to this event. Does it function? Yeah, I have to. Okay. I will make this presentation brief. I think it has been a very long day. I think you should consider what I'm saying as an appetizer, so you can find more information. I'm going to say briefly something about the Danish Energy Agency where I work, and actually I've been working for 20 years. And I will say also very briefly something about the development in Denmark in the field of energy efficiency, some results and experiences. Well, the Danish Energy Agency is an agency under the Danish Ministry of Energy, Utilities and Climate. And the agency is responsible for the entire energy chain. That means both consumption and supply, and we're also dealing with both legal aspects, subsidy schemes, administration. We're working on a national basis, but we also have some international cooperation. We are about 350 persons employed in the agency. Oh, that was something I need. Oh, yeah, okay. Like we heard from the IEA presentation earlier today, well, things started up many places in Europe and elsewhere with the first oil crisis. So it also was in Denmark. So we have worked hardly with energy efficiency, also other energy aspects, actually for 40 years. And this pictures just show that everybody in Denmark got a shock, because before that time we haven't thought about energy as some energy policy and so on. But certainly we were dependent on oil, and we imported everything, and suddenly it became very expensive. So we even forbid driving on Sundays in cars. So we need to do something. Governmental action was necessary also in the field of energy efficiency. Well, now we are, 40 years has gone, and actually a lot of things have changed in Denmark. We have a very high, very much renewable energy in our electricity grid. That's not what I'm going to talk about here. But also we have very strong improvement in the field of energy efficiency. Actually, we have the lowest energy consumption per gross domestic product unit in the EU. And well, then we have developed our industrial sector. That's also another story, which I'm not going to touch upon here. Loop. Oh, okay. I thought it was coming at the same time. So, well, we call it sometimes the Danish energy model. And one important fact about this is the energy planning topic. It's very important to have goals, long-term, but also short-term goals. And it's very important to have also action plans which are very specific, and it's very important to follow up, and it's very important to adjust if you don't fulfill the goals. So we have some specific goals both in the shorter and the longer run. Yes. Now I turn to the energy efficiency topic in Denmark, experiences. We have had strong energy efficiency improvements. This curve you can see on the right side, actually it was also shown earlier today, but the important message is that we have had this. Actually, it goes back to the oil crisis when it started back in the 70s. But the important thing is that you can see we have had this economic growth. Then we have had, you can say, a stable energy consumption level through the whole period, more or less. And then you can see the energy intensity, it has gone down. So, yeah, maybe you have heard that story before, but I think it shows a lot about the development. It's not easy to reach such goals, and actually that's why I'm saying this is an appetizer, because I can only touch upon it. But it's very important to combine several measures in order to to reach such goals. And yeah, I will turn to some of the measures that have been used in order to you can say stimulate this development. Yeah. And next one. Oh, I'm not good at this. Okay. Well, the Danish effort has actually covered a lot of topics, also appliances and so on. But I'll just, because of limited time, I'll just mention buildings and industry, which has also been we've heard a lot about earlier today. We've had very strong decrease in energy consumption per square meter in the Danish building sector, and you can see that that's a red curve that goes down. You can also see we had some maybe easy fruits to pickle in the beginning of the time, but it has gone down through the period. But still, there's a great potential within this area in Denmark, even though we have done a lot. Buildings. Then I'll turn to industry. You can see the same you can say picture. The production has become more effective. Actually, we have used a lot of messages. One message which we have used for many years was something we call voluntary agreement scheme. To say it very briefly, it's so that because we also have energy taxes and CO2 taxes in Denmark, so if a company made an agreement and we said that it should do something to improve energy efficiency, it could get its taxes reimbursed. We also have other schemes. I'm not going into all these different measures because it will take too long time. But the main measures that have been used in Denmark are taxes on energy and CO2. Actually, we have very high taxes, especially on the households, not so much on industry. Regulation, of course, standards, norms on buildings and also on appliances and so on. And of course, a lot of instruments are needed, which have to be stimulated by the government in order to make the various measures function. Supportive measures, for example, information campaigns and so on, and also studies so that people can become aware of the potential, etc., etc. And again, here you can say combination of measures are very important. I just took this slide because it shows how much the development in the energy efficiency obligations in the building codes, how much they have been strengthened, and they're almost, you can see, zero houses in 2002. It's also what will be demanded in the EU, but you can see this development is quite remarkable. Yeah. Then I'll turn to the global cooperation program of the Danish Energy Agency, because and the aim is actually to cooperate with partner countries and try to, of course, the Danish experiences cannot just be transferred elsewhere, but maybe some inspiration can inspire other countries to improve energy efficiency. And this global cooperation program, it is not only on energy efficiency; it's on energy efficiency, renewable energy, and climate change mitigation. And we have a number of partner countries. If we start in the left side, well, we'll cooperate with Mexico. We cooperate with Ukraine and Turkey and South Africa, Indonesia, we just started up our cooperation there. And then we also have a cooperation with China and Vietnam. I just brought this to show how great difference there is between energy intensity in different countries. So there's something to do. Of course, it also depends on the structure of your industry. I know that, but still there's things to do. So what are we doing in our cooperation partner countries? What are we cooperating on? It depends, of course, of the needs of the countries, and then, of course, also we want to use the Danish expertise. But we are, for example, we are working with the improvement of energy efficiency in industries, including energy management systems. We are assisting on development of national energy strategies and action plans. We are working with implementation of energy efficiency in building codes in new buildings, and then improvement of energy efficiency data and statistics. Actually, this is a very important in order to have a good basis for making policy and monitoring and so on. And also energy efficiency awareness campaigns, actually in South Africa. Well, this was just a brief appetizer. But we have if you want to learn more about it, I would like to draw the attention to two energy policy toolkits, which can be found on the Danish Energy Agency's web page. Here they are. You can see them there. I brought them in paper. And there's a lot of other information. And then I will say you're always welcome to send an email to me. And then I will bring you in contact. It might not be me. I'm working with Ukraine, actually. But I will bring you in contact with my colleagues, or so we can hopefully answer your questions. And we also have a newsletter which is called Global Cooperation. You can also sign for this.